Hi, I'm Isaiah, and this is my client today, Gabe. So today I'll be taking him through three exercises. The first two being lower body, and then the last one being an upper body movement. For the first one, we are going to perform a squat. So preferably we want to do this with the barbell, and we do have a barbell for demonstration here. The purpose of this exercise is going to be to strengthen the lower body, the quads, glutes, and hamstrings. So next we are going to do, for the equipment, we need a barbell, preferably sometimes a squat rack, but with limited stuff today, we're just gonna use body weight for this one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the body positioned correctly. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your feet shoulder width apart and toes pointed slightly outwards, with a slight bend in the knees, and then just want to make sure you have chest upright the whole entire time. So we'll have you kind of get in that position there. And then for the posture, we're just going to make sure we have a neutral spine through the whole entire movement, while also bracing your core and retracting your shoulder blades. So next, we are going to take you through the movement. So I guess we could use the barbell. We'll get this centered on your shoulders here. So have you go looking over. Perfect. So from this position, once we get in that starting position as we cued it up before, we're going to hinge at the hips, slowly descending through the eccentric movement. This is when the quads are lengthening. And then once you reach that 90 degree, you'll spring back up through the heels fast through the concentric movement, and that's when you're rising with the bar. So that is how you correctly perform a squat. We'll have you turn to the side real quick here. Just showing that hip hinge as he descends and then gets to 90 degrees and fires back up through the heels while maintaining an upright chest. And to spot this, I would just stand behind him to help ensure that he doesn't fall forward or backwards. So a good verbal cue is to imagine you are sitting down in a chair. That kind of helps it start with that hip hinge. So yeah. Okay, for our next exercise, I'm gonna take Gabe through a lunge. So for this, I'll give a quick demonstration. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get the feet staggered, one foot in front of the other, and the other one acting as a kickstand. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna lower your waist and keep an upright chest, driving your knee straight to the ground, back knee straight to the ground, but not touching the ground, making sure to keep that tension on that quad, and then once you get to this position, you're gonna fire back up. So the purpose of this is to help improve unilateral strength within those whatever leg you have out in front, and while also targeting core stability and just balance in general. So what we're going to need for this, you could obviously just do this body weight, but to increase the intensity, you could use some dumbbells or our barbell as used before with the squat. But for this one, we'll just use body weight. So what I'll have you do is get the body in the starting position. So we'll stagger your feet. We just want to make sure the knee is stacked on top of that ankle, so kind of getting that forward lunge there. Perfect. And then that back leg's just going to act as a kickstand. So what you're going to do from this position, you're going to go ahead, keep your posture upright, and then brace that core as well. You're just going to lower it down into that knee drive, and then back up, making sure that knee doesn't hit the ground. Perfect. And then I'll coach him through a couple more reps to complete a full set. So a good cue for this is to just imagine that back leg as not working. That front leg is just going to be the most engaged throughout this workout. As he's lowering, that's going to be the eccentric movement, and you want to take that portion of the movement very slowly, and then firing back up through your heels through a concentric movement. So for these two lower base movements. The antagonists are gonna be your quads and your glutes. For the antagonist, it's gonna be your hamstrings working against as you're lowering in that movement, both of those movements. Finally, for our last workout, it's gonna be an upper body workout. This is called the barbell bent over row. You can do this row multiple different ways, but today we're gonna be performing it with the barbell. So the purpose for this is to strengthen our upper back, like our lats, our rhomboids, rear delts, and biceps. So the equipment that's going to be used for this is, like I said, a barbell, or we could use dumbbells to supplement for the barbell if you don't have access to one. So what we're gonna do is get that body position correct here. So I'll give it a little demonstration. What we're gonna wanna do is grab the bar, hands just right outside your thighs here. You wanna get a little bend in your knees and then kind of hinge at the hips. Your body's gonna be almost parallel with the ground. Get a little side view here. So once you're here, this is your starting position. You're gonna pull the bar straight towards your belly button, and then imagine you're squeezing a pencil back here with your shoulder blades, and then slowly controlling down through that movement there. So go ahead and give you the bar here. We'll get you set up in the starting position. Awesome. And then we're just gonna bend slightly at the knees and then hinge at the hips. Perfect. We'll pull the bar straight to the belly button area, really squeezing. As we're coming up, we're working through the concentric movement. And then as we're lowering that bar, we're working through the eccentric movement. So we want to focus on really slow down that lower portion there. That helps, because this is where the most muscle growth occurs, is in the eccentric movement. So the muscles that are going to be working in this for the antagonist, we'll start with the agonist first. That's going to be your lateral or lats, your rhomboids, rear delts, and then your biceps. And as for your antagonist, it's going to be your anterior delts, pectoral muscles, pectoralis muscles, and then your your triceps. Alright, so as for tests and measurements, to see if we can properly execute these workouts before we even do them, I would have you do, for the squat, I'd have you do an over the head squat test. So what you're gonna do is, I'll demonstrate real quick. You'll get your hands straight over your head, and what I'm gonna be watching for is as you lower, I wanna see if there's any leaning of the torso or kind of falling back on your heels, if there's any knee valgus or any of that sort. So we want to just see you sitting directly back like you're in a chair, giving that 90-degree angle and coming straight back up with any problems. So we'll take a look here. Nice. So I'll have you do it from the side real quick. Really good. And as we can see, Gabe can perform a squat very properly. He keeps his chest real upright through that whole entire motion. So that's what we're really looking for. And sometimes with bad ankle mobility, we kind of see lean forward of the torso. But as we can tell, Gabe has really good mobility in his ankles. While we're performing this test, we want to make sure they don't have any shoes, just so that they're flat with the ground. And then as for our other lower body exercise for the lunge, to see if we can, what we would test for that is how good his balance is. So what we would do is we would have him get into his lunging position and then get to that 90-degree angle and then kind of like push him a bit just to see if how well his balance is. Not really push him, but just kind of see how stable he is. So once he gets here, we're just kind of seeing if he's able to keep his balance here, and he can do that very properly. So we would be able to perform the lunge, and even then we could advance him from that lunge and do like a Bulgarian split squat since his balance is so good. So as for the row, barbell row, what we would test for that is just a simple hinge squat. So we could use like a broomstick to make sure all 3 points are hit. So it's gonna be the head, upper back, and then lumbar position or lumbar area. So we wanna make sure the stick stays on his back the whole entire time. We don't have a dowel on us right now, but we would have him just simply hinge at the hips, and we could obviously see with his barbell row that he did properly with that movement. So.